Kyle, and welcome back to part 3 of lesson 6. In this part, we're going to be talking about dictionaries. So a Python dictionary is a collection of items with key and value pairs. They're not like lists and arrays where you can index and select things out using those index values. Instead, the key corresponds to the value. So in this example here, I've created a dictionary, my dictionary, and it's equal to these curly brackets, and in this case, the first key is name, right? And I separate it by a colon, and then I put the value, which is my name. The second key is the email, again, separate by a colon, and I put my email here as the value. And then finally, the third key is my office, and separate by a colon, and then finally, the value is my actual office number. So using that format, you have a key, colon, value. And the key, whenever you index using that key, you get the value. So to call a dictionary item, use its key. My dictionary of name in your output would be Katie. So you index using that key in order to get the value. Here's another example of a dictionary. It's the hockey teams. Here I have the curly bracket, and I have the state for each hockey team, as well as the team name. So you have the Pennsylvania Flyers, the Arizona Coyotes, and the Colorado Avalanche. And you print those out, and you can see the key is Pennsylvania for the value of Flyers, the key of Arizona is for the value of Coyotes, and the key of Colorado is for the value of Avalanche. So you can get those keys and values from a dictionary without having to print it out and look at every other one by using the keys and values functions. So you do hockeyteams.keys, and you get Pennsylvania, Arizona, and Colorado. Notice that it has a helpful little note here, says dictionary keys. And then hockeyteams.values, again, you get the values, Flyers, Coyotes, and Avalanche, and it, again, gives you that little note of dictionary values. You can also replace values in your dictionary by using the key name. So here you have hockey teams of Pennsylvania, and say that we don't like the Flyers as much as we like the Pittsburgh Penguins. So we're going to replace our Flyers with Penguins, and you can see we call using the key, and we say that is now equal to the Penguins, and you can see that Pennsylvania, the key is still the same, but the value that corresponds to is now Penguins. And you can create new keys and values by using the square bracket to append them, very similar to this. But if you're putting in a key that doesn't exist, it just appends it onto the end and puts it in there. So for example, we have our hockey team in Washington that just recently got initiated, and that's the Kraken. So we want to put that in our list, and it says print hockey teams, and now Washington and Kraken is on the end there. Now you can also remove keys and their values using pop. This is very similar to the list pop, where when you use the function, you say hockeyteams.pop, and you say, we're going to pop whatever the value is for this Pennsylvania here. And it's going to save it in this third place. So print third place equals this, and we get the Flyers as our value. And then we print our remaining teams, and notice that now the Pennsylvania Flyers are gone from our list. You can also use del. You say hockey teams, square brackets, Pennsylvania. So using that key again to call that value. And you can see it's gone from our list. But notice it does not get saved. So if you want to save that item, it's better to use pop. That ends it for dictionaries. They're very useful for mapping and sort of attributing different values to different objects that you know. They're very, very computationally efficient, especially if you know the key. They also are really related to some of the different data structures that we're going to be talking about later in class. I will see you all in the next and last video.